friends, today we're talking about finding the minimum or the maximum of a quadratic equation or function. And you want to take these notes down. Remember, our standard form looks like this, and how we find the minimum or the maximum is we look at our a here. Even if it's in vertex form, your a is always going to be in the front as well. If that a is positive, that means that the parabola opens upwards. So maybe it would help to show. If it opens upwards like this, you'll see that we have a minimum that it reaches, but we don't have a maximum because it keeps going on forever. However, if our a is negative, that means it's opening down, which means we have a maximum, but we have no minimum because it keeps going on till infinity, right? Forever. So let's talk about how you would find that. Find the minimum or the maximum of y equals x squared minus 4x plus 2. Well, the first thing we notice is that our a here is a 1, and that is positive. So that means it's going to be opening up, which means we're going to have a minimum. And the way we do that now is to find the vertex. So we're going to, let me switch pens here. To find our vertex, we are going to start by saying x equals negative b over 2a. Now our b is negative 4, so negative 4 over 2 times our a, which is 1. So what I have here is 4 over 2, which just equals 2. So the first part of my vertex is 2. Now I want to find my y, and in order to do that, I just have to plug in my x to this equation here. So 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 2. Lots of 2's there. Y equals 4 minus 8 plus 2. Y equals negative 4 plus 2, which means y equals negative 2. Okay, so my vertex is over 2, down 2, and it's going to be opening up. And that kind of helps me to know how to draw my graph. I'm going to be going over 2, down 2, and opening up. So I can say that I can draw it like this. And that will help. Oh, it helps if it's on the screen, actually. There we go. So vertex being over 2, down 2 is going to look like this. Over 1, 2, and down 2. And then my a is a 1, which means it has its normal pattern. Over 1, up 1, over 1, up 3, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 3. So this tells me a couple of things. The most important being, well, let's talk about the other things first. We've got a axis of symmetry right through here, and remember, with our vertex being 2, negative 2, our axis of symmetry is always written as the equation of a line. It's x equals 2 because that's the x of my vertex. Now the minimum is it's going to be a minimum because it's where it's the minimum, right? You can't go any further than this. So our minimum is right here, and notice that is y equals negative 2. So minimum at y equals negative 2. Notice that's just the y value of my vertex. So once you have your vertex, you don't even need to draw it. You can just say, oh, it's a minimum or a maximum, and use the y value of your vertex. Any other things that we would know? We know our y-intercept is at 2. So y-intercept is 0, 2. Now it looks like our x-intercepts are somewhere right in between 0 and 1, and then 2, 3, and then in between 3 and 4. So we're not going to know what those are exactly unless we use like the quadratic formula or another way to solve this. So we're not going to worry about those now. I just wanted you to see how to find your minimum or your maximum. Hopefully that helps.